Alright, Bam has surpassed Kobe for the second all-time scoring performance, and as expected, it came against a bottom feeder because the pace of the game was ridiculous the entire night, so there was a flow for the Heat. As I've said many times before, stars need to capitalize on these type of games, so it was smart of Bam, because from top to bottom, the Wizards could not contain the Rock at all, and they displayed some of the worst point of attack defense I've ever seen. Their first line was basically non-existent, so in transition, the Heat caught them not matched up or set. Then in the half court, they played their usual 4 or 5 out, and Bam just happened to have the best matchups on the night, because he has guard skills as a big. That just led to an inherent mismatch against Sar, Vucevic, and even Gill, because it was always going to be difficult for them to slide their feet on the perimeter, so Bam just spotted up to attack them in space, and I don't even think they were necessarily playing bad defense early. They were gapping Bam as they should have, and it just didn't work, because Bam exploited that space by lighting him up from deep in the first, so a lot of those shots were good D, better row. Then on top of that, they're natural rim protectors, so whenever they tried to help off Bam, they paid for it. And I think what sucked was them getting no help when they got beat off the dribble, because that's usually their rules. Without one of them to protect the rim, their second line was just as non-existent as their first line, but I will give credit to Sar, because on that end, he managed to at least slow Bam down from the second onward, and on the other end, he was actually going back at Bam, so he was giving buckets. He was scoring as the hub through the Wizards' screening actions, he was getting in the post, he was taking Bam off the dribble, and he even started getting inverteds, because he was on his own heater, so he was forcing Bam to guard him too. The only issue was him giving up twice that, so that nullified all of his scoring in the first half, and in the second half, he didn't even play, because the game was basically over halfway through the third. I think that was what led to Bam really starting to take over, because the Heat was getting him the rock at the elbows or in the post, so they were basically green lighting him, and the Wizards just didn't have the bodies or size to stop him. He had already got Vucevic into foul trouble early, then it got worse in that quarter, so the Wizards had to eventually go to Gill, and they even had to start firing whenever he had the rock, instead of just flooding his touches, because that was really their only way to stop him. But when that wasn't working, their next adjustment was to assign Coulibaly onto him in the fourth, because they just wanted to deny him the rock as much as possible, and that didn't change anything, so he continued living at the line. Their last resort was to just put 2 to 3 bodies on him in the final 2 minutes, and committing takes on the other Heat, because that was when the Heat started hunting the record, so they were trying to deny him from it. But they couldn't succeed at doing that either, because he broke free on his 81st, then on his 83rd points, and I can't even blame Bam or the Heat for going after the record. He'll never be in that position again, so he had to capitalize on the moment, and up until the last 2 minutes, I thought he was still playing within the flow of the offense, because early on, he was just a byproduct of the pace. Then in the fourth, he was playing as the hub at times, not just being force-fed. There were instances where he was opening up driving lanes for the others, because the Wizards didn't want to help off him, and he was making the right passes when the Wizards were firing, so I think all the hate should be towards the Wizards for not being able to stop him. My only criticism was him playing the second half, especially in the fourth, because it was basically garbage time halfway through the third, so he probably could have sat out once he had 48, but 48 was close to 50, then he got 62 by the end of that quarter, and when he had 79 in the last 2 minutes, he might as well go for the record at that point. Just watch the tape.
In the Bam! Yeah!